you just write, "Do not share," if you have something you would like to be held in care by our worship leader and pastoral care team, but not spoken in prayer. Many activities and events happen each week in our community, and here are a few of those. And let's see, today, do we have children's church?
No.
Not yet.
Children's Church Big Tent is on September 8th.
September 8th. That's just a reminder ahead because school's going to start pretty soon. And we know and everything. Fourth Friday Drum Circle comes up this Friday, actually, and it's a fun time for people to get together and do a little rhythm together and play. And it will meet in the social hall. Audrey Bunton is leading that, and it'll meet at 7 p.m. So that's coming up this Friday, August 23rd. The other announcements, there's a few others in your end of your service there as well. And join us today right after coffee hour to encourage our friends, family, and neighbors to vote. We will be sending a Better Wyoming Commit to Vote link to our friends, and in return, they will get access to information about voting. So stick around after coffee hour for more information. Don't forget, primary voting is Tuesday, the 20th, coming up. And I believe that's all the announcements, unless somebody else has one. And our prayer, share the plate for this month is Meals on Wheels. And Elizabeth is going to speak about that. All right. Yep.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Thorson, and I'm a member of the Share the Plate Committee. As Mike said, this month's recipient of our Share the Plate funds is Meals on Wheels, which is a long-time nonprofit in our community. I wanted to share a little bit today about the types of services, the types of meals that they provide specifically. I'm impressed by the range that they can offer. They offer regular meals, cardiac sensitive, renal sensitive, diabetic, gluten-free, and lactose intolerant. So they do a lot of work to customize the meals for the recipient, and that's not a cheap endeavor, as you can imagine. Average meals cost between $8 to $10, and clients are asked but not required to contribute to that cost at around $4.25. So they rely on donors to cover basically half the cost of each meal. So it's an important cause to support. You may know people or people who receive meals or want to volunteer to help deliver meals would be a good choice for your volunteer energy. And please help us by giving generously during the offering. Thank you.
And so, with deep gratitude, we receive our morning offering for the life of this church, for the work of the community beyond our walls. We gather. Each week we gather. We bring our sorrows, our disappointments, our failures. We gather for healing, for laughter, and to rejoice. We gather to find new ways of loving, new ways of thinking, new ways of being, to remember the ways we have been. We gather. Yes, always we gather, for it is in gathering that we find our hope. And so, in a gathering of hope, for our opening hymn, I invite you to open your gray hymnals, turning to page 123. Spirit of life will rise in body and spirit and sing together as we invoke hope. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
We light our chalice this morning, light of our creative spirits, light of our wise souls, light of our wandering and curious minds, light of love for this place, this people, this work. Illuminate our hearts and the spaces between them in this sacred time of unfolding. Blessed be. If the young or young at heart would like to join us on the chancel at this time, we invite you to share in the leadership of speaking our covenant in unison before our time for all ages. And the words to this covenant can be found on the inside cover of your order of service.
We have young folks and young at heart folks this morning. Thank you so much. You are, as always, welcome to bring one of our animals up to share with you in this time if you would like. So we begin our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its cause. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth, and to help others. So, come have a seat with me for a moment. Absolutely. I think Jenkin would love to be up here with us. And some folks might like a frog, an owl, somebody else to be with as well. Thank you so much. So, today, we are going to be talking a little bit about art and about beauty and about creation. So I am wondering, up here on the chancel with me, out there in the pews, how many of the people in this sanctuary today would consider themselves a creator? Do you create things? That's quite a few people. Yeah. How many people like to draw or paint? How many can sew or knit, crochet or weave? How many work with wood or pottery? How many build miniatures? How many write? How many sculpt? How many folks garden? Are there other ways of being a creator that you do that I haven't named yet? Music. How many play an instrument or sing? Yeah. Any other ways of being a creator? Making jewelry. Yeah. Yeah. Dancing. How many people make up dances or movement? Yeah. There are so many ways of being a creator. I think I saw almost every person's hand, maybe every single person's hand at least once. Did you have another way of being a creator? Oh, being a YouTuber, an online creator. Yeah, how many people do video or photography or some kind of creation that way? Yeah. There are so many ways to create. When you begin to want to make something, when you think about all the ways you create, what do you use for inspiration? What helps to make that creative energy start to spark in your brain or get your mind and your heart focused on what you want to create? Being bored, letting yourself just do nothing for a bit? Yeah.
Getting inspiration from others.
Sorry? See someone else's art. Oh, seeing someone else's art, getting inspiration from others. Going out in nature or seeing nature. Yeah. Any other places you find inspiration? Yeah. What helps you be creative? Going and doing something fun. Yeah, feeling that there's a fun thing happening. Sorry? Questioning. Having something you're wondering about. Oh, watching airplanes. Yeah. Yeah, saw another. Going out and seeing a sunset. Yeah. Yeah. Any other inspirational things or moments? Millie? Oh, cartoon characters. Yeah, so seeing a kind of art or entertainment like cartoons. Watching movies. Yeah. Watching birds. Yes. There are so many ways to get inspired, to find your creative spirit. Yeah, there are a lot of kinds of nature that can be inspirational. I heard birds and sunsets and all sorts of things. So often, in this church and in many others, people might talk about the sacred or about God. Some people here talk about love as a connecting force. And this week, I was on the Wind River Reservation, where Shoshone and Arapaho Native people live. And they call that sacred spirit or that connecting force that often is part of their inspiration, Creator. And so what's interesting to me is that we all put our hands up in the many ways that we, too, are creators. We might not be creating the whole universe or a planet every day of our lives, like it's said in the myths that Creator did in the beginning of the beginning. But we, as created beings, as beings living on this planet, also have that inspiration, that spark of creative energy. And so we often want to create. We have talent. We have a need to make something that passes on our talents, our personalities, what we have seen and heard and felt that is beautiful. And so, in this worship service today, I'm going to ask you to be participants in creation. Does that sound like something that we can do? How about out there? Yeah? All right. So, some folks might want to paint a picture inside your mind, and if that's what you prefer, you can do that. But for a lot of us, we might like to create something that we can see by the end of worship. So I'm going to let you know a few options you have. This front table has some watercolor paints, and you can sit or stand to do that. There are some pipe cleaners you could use to sculpt and to make a sculpture in the basket. There are coloring and coloring sheets in the back and the front of the room. There's, what's over here? Some cross-stitch and embroidery thread. There's a book on how to make friendship bracelets, if that's something you could use a little reminder on. There's some wax for modeling or just feeling in your hands. It feels good to move and manipulate some of that wax. So I'm going to release you all to find one thing that you would find fun to use and create. There are also a few started knitting projects and some thread for finger knitting in a few of the pews. I would love a star. And I have a tiny origami star that was created during this time. So, if you, people of all ages, wish to move to find something creative, if you want to get something to manipulate, please feel welcome to move about. Nice.
Ask you, how do you say that? 9:9-16, or Genesis?
Yes, chapter 9, verses 9 through 16. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Chapter. And verses 9 through 16. Sorry, I should have written that all the way out, and I
meant to ask you that
I
before.
just get
We
stuck.
have a former service leader from Calvary Chapel here, and I kind of want to get that right, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I got stuck in my, like, certainly everyone's taken a Bible class mode. Verses 9 through 16. Yes. Perfect. Oh, we could, or I think people will be okay to. And once you have something that you think will be fun, you can head for a seat somewhere that will be helpful. Or if you're doing painting, you can stay up at the table. If you're doing embroidery, feel welcome to take your supplies and share them in a pew. All right. So as we move into our time of prayer, I want to let you know, sometimes in our worship services, sometimes when we're doing worship, we have this idea that we shouldn't be moving, that worship is a time to be perfectly silent and look to the front. And what I'm going to tell you is this is a worship for busy hands, and this is a worship for experimenting, trying out creativity. So if you need to move quietly in order to find something new to do, if you've decided a certain project is not for you and you'd like to try something else, please feel welcome to do that as you need. And now, let us move into a time of prayer, but let our hands move, for our creativity can be a part of our prayerful attention. As we come to this time, we invoke the spirit of life, the spirit of love, you okay? Spirit of creativity. In this time, we are glad and grateful for what moves us, what brings our minds together, what spurs us to creativity. We are grateful for the moments in which we feel ready to do and to move and to go. And we hold in our hearts, in our minds, those for whom that is not the place that they are in, those for whom finding a creative space might be a struggle. Let us lift our prayers, hold in our compassion those who struggle with depression, those whose mental health is not as well as it might be. May they know that they are not ever alone. May we hold in our thoughts, all those who have been through recent surgeries, recent procedures, those who are in a time of healing, and those who are still waiting. May we hold them in hope, in love, and in care. And may we hold our excitement for what is new and beginning, for those going back to school who have just started or may start soon, for those in anticipation of learning or of teaching, for all those feeling that summer has passed too quickly, for all those ready and hoping for the cool of autumn to come again, for the many ways of our being, for the seasons of our lives. May we hold one another in care and comfort and community. Amen, and blessed be.
And now is the time for our sacred message from Genesis chapter 9, verses 9 through 16. In the ancient stories of the Israelite people, in the sacred text, which we know as the Bible or Torah, there is a story of a time when the people of the earth were engaged in behavior that was unkind and uncaring, when they fought with one another and failed to notice the wonder and miracle of the world around them. Forgot to be grateful for the beauty of creation. In this time, it is said that God sent a flood to drown the people, the animals, and remove all life so that the world might start again. But the family of Noah was faithful, and so Noah was given awareness and warning, told to build a massive ark, a boat to save his relations and the animals that might restart the life of the world. After the flood, it seemed that God realized that this flood was not the right reaction to a humanity in need of help and guidance, but rather punishment when they went astray. So God made a promise. As it reads in Genesis chapter 9, verses 9 through 16, "Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, and all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth." And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring the clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on earth. Life Tips from a Pottery Wheel by Tim Atkins. But first, a quote from Marina Abramovic. Your ego can become an obstacle to your work. If you start believing in your greatness, it is the death of your creativity. Over the past couple years, what started off as a hobby turned into a true spiritual practice, wheel-thrown pottery. I would love to tell you that I picked it up and immediately I've become an expert potter with showcases and gallery openings. And okay, I can't stop laughing at that picture. In fact, I've had some pretty epic failures with pottery. Almost everything comes off a little off-centered, and often my attempts on the wheel end up with a disaster of some sort. Just last month, when I was trimming a bowl, it flew off the wheel, smashed into another wheel, and the formerly not too bad bowl turned into something that more resembled a pancake. I laughed it off. When I was learning to make bowls, clay ended up coating my arms, cheeks, hair, and everywhere else. None of the bowls came out like bowls, and I left with a huge smile on my face, despite failure after failure. Because what have I learned? Far and far away, the most important lesson pottery has taught me is not to be too attached to the final product. There are a lot of places in the process of making wheel-thrown pottery where something different than you expected can happen. You never know how the final product will look after glazing it until it comes out of the kiln. Every time I've put a piece into the kiln with a certain expectation of how it'll come out, I've been disappointed. When I don't much care in the end how it looks, I end up pleasantly surprised. I can't be attached to those final outcomes. The process matters more than the product. The process matters more than the product. This is a universal truth in art, creativity, and it transcends every artistic medium, from architecture to YouTube videos. No matter what form art takes in the end, no matter what artistic medium you use, the process of making art changes who you are as a person. How we've changed differs from person to person, but we are fundamentally changed by embracing our creativity, no matter what our creative outlet. May we all take time to fully immerse our creative potential, no matter what medium. May we all be reminded that the process matters, just not the final outcome.
All right. How are we doing so far with our art? Anyone feeling good about what they're creating? Anyone feeling frustrated with something? Anyone feeling soothed or relaxed? Anyone feeling inspired? Making art, making crafts is a spiritual practice. As Tim Atkins wrote, it is the process that matters, not just the final outcome. Common knowledge for artists, writers, poets, creators of many kinds. We create because it is a part of the agreement we make with the universe that when we come into being, we become those who can make and create. We make everything from the food that we eat, changing the tastes, recombining plants and animals into delicious cookery, to the clothes that we choose and wear, that some of us make from scratch. We are people made to be creative, and it is about the process. Our myths, our stories tell us so. Going all the way back, thousands of years in Hebrew scripture, we find this myth, the story of the rainbow, the story of the flood. Even God made mistakes. Creation was not a one and done perfection. From Adam and Eve and all that went differently than expected in the Garden of Eden, to Noah and the flood, there are stories of starting again and again because creation is imperfect. We have told stories here as well from the Native American traditions. The people of corn in the Mayan tradition were created not once but 4 times before the gods were satisfied that they had created a people who could worship, who could give thanks, who could sing and dance and be responsible for themselves and for their lives and create beauty in this world. In many traditions around the world, this story comes back again and again. The story that creation is a work in progress. And evolution is another story of a work in progress. From the smallest microorganisms to our current state of being, that we are never done becoming. And so it is that we, a meaning-making people, find ourselves moving from created to creator in a cycle of life. And so it is that our stories teach us that it is okay to begin again and again, for creation to be a work in progress, for there to be hiccups and starts again and again. I am reminded every time I begin a new piece of knitting, when I cast on my stitches and inevitably I count wrong or make it too tight or too loose or uneven, and take it off and start again, perhaps 2 or 3 or 4 times, and become better with each time. The first scarf I ever wove started about 8 inches wide. In some places, it's 6.5, in others 9. The process of learning to weave is full of moments of too much tension, of too little, of imperfection. And that scarf gets better as it moves along. It reminds me of life, of every moment of growing up and becoming better. Sometimes we forget as we grow how to simply be bad at something and enjoy the process anyway. Today, I hope, is a chance for some of you to try something that you haven't tried before, to let yourself have fun with creation, even if you're not making anything that you would keep or that is recognizable. Whether you're finger weaving or painting, whether you're out there with plastic canvas or embroidery, or just coloring a piece. Make your mark. Find something new to experiment with. And if not in this moment, in this sanctuary, find something you will do in the coming week, some way that you will try again. We come to the story from Genesis, and I've used it because in the Jewish tradition, the Creator, God, is not simply a force that inflicts God's will on people. God is a force to be negotiated with, one that makes promises and is bound in a relationship with humanity. And this, too, can be a lesson for us about what we are doing in this world, about art, yes, and the ways that we work with what shows up on the page in the weaving, but about justice as well, about how we are living our lives and the ways in which we can respond to the world and to our human relationships. That when we honor our promises, when we ask to come back into relationship when a great thing has happened, a problem, a tragedy, when we honor in beauty that recommitment to one another. What we can create together is powerful. The rainbow is a reminder that love is better than anger or punishment, that the breach of relationship can be a chance to come back more strongly. And Howard Zinn writes, "To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic, it is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion and sacrifice, of courage and kindness. What we choose to emphasize in our complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act, at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. And so it is. Beauty sparks beauty. Creativity, inspiring creativity. What we do, knowing that what we do will be imperfect and choosing to try anyway, this can be what makes a better world. Art is bigger than simply the putting of something on a page into a weaving out in the world. It is the beginning of reweaving relationships and of society. It is what makes lives meaningful instead of simply sustenance. And so I invite you to continue creating, to make creation a spiritual practice, to remember what it is to be bad at something and try again and again, and to hold your joy, to respond to nature, to be in all the ways that you can be responsive to the power of creation in this universe. And so, let us respond in beauty. At this time, I ask that you find a stopping point in the creation that you may be making, or take a deep breath and simply let it out. And let us rise in body or in spirit. Our sung response is not in our hymnal, it should be in our order of service, I hope. All right, so it sounds like our sung response did not make it into our order of service, and so I'm going to line out the words for you. It is a zipper song, so it will be very easy. Let's rise. This song is called "This Joy That I Have," and it's from the Resistance Revival Chorus. The song words are, "This joy that I have, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, the world didn't give it to me." We'll say those words 3 times over. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. And we'll do the same thing. This strength that I have, this love that I have, this pride that I have, this peace that I have, will follow right along with our music. And I encourage you to be in your joy, in your strength, in your love, pride, and peace, and follow the energy of the music. Feel welcome to dance if you wish. This too is an act of creation. The world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have. The world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that? This joy that I have. The world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Oh, this strength that I have, this strength that I have. This strength that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh, yeah. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. Didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Oh, this love that I have. This love that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This love that I have. Oh, yeah. The world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that? This love that I have, yeah. The world didn't give it to me. Singing, the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. This pride that I have, this pride that I have. This pride that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This pride that I have. I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that? This pride that I have, yeah. The world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. All this peace that I have. Yeah. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give me my peace that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. Won't you sing about peace? This peace that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. All this joy that I have, this joy that I have. This joy that I have. Oh, yeah, now, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have. I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that? This joy that I have. The world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away.
Please remain standing as we extinguish our chalice flame and speak the words in our order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry within our hearts until we are together again.
And so may we carry within our hearts our joy, our love, our peace, our strength. May we know that all of who we are is welcome here, is part of creation, is Creator. And so may we be blessed in this week to come. Blessed be.
All right, I'm gonna get really loud for a minute. Hi guys, if you really liked your art piece and want to see it hung out for everyone else to see, please leave it either on the table or the desk out there, and I'll make sure that gets hung up.
So just to second that with the microphone, if you really like your art, or if you go, this is a blessed mess, put that art with Jed in the back. We would love to make a collage showing the creativity of this congregation in the week to come. Thank you.